Just in case you're a more visual person, I wanted to give you a sample of how you can explore titles in lower thirds. What I'd like you to do is try each of these methods. So what you need is a piece of video, and you can drag it over to your timeline. Doesn't matter what video because we aren't really using this, but I just want you to have something to work with titles. So the first way to add text to video is the simplest way. Basically, you just use your text type tool. So let's come over here, and now I'm just going to type, "Hey, that's me, text tool." I want you to label each thing so that I can see what you did in that certain spot. You can click the arrow, move it around. As you can see, I can make it bigger, smaller. But you can also double click and go to Effects Controls. You can scale it up and down that way, change its position left and right. You can do a little rotation on it. You can do opacity. You can change the font. So I just want to see that you've experimented with this, so just do a few changes here and there. As you get more acquainted with the text tool, you'll have more things that you do. In addition, I would like to go ahead and show you, this is a static tool. However, you can activate it. So let's say I click that. That means I am marking that, and I would like to make a change somewhere. And here's another keyframe. Here's where I'm going to make the change. So now let's have it rotate like this. So now this keyframe says it's in this position at this time, and this keyframe says it's in this position at this time. So as I play it, you can see it move. Of course, that's a goofy way to do your text, but you can adjust any of these values and set them to have animation by pushing the stopwatch, and then you can set where they change by adding keyframes. That was my main point. Okay, so that was the first way, simplest way, type tool. I can stretch this, I can shorten it, whatever. Okay, let's look at the next way. Make a new text layer. So just make sure you've selected your timeline, and then you go to Graphics, New Layer, Text. I have no idea what that did because it disappeared. Okay, so Graphics, New Layer, Text. Ah, there's my new text layer. Okay. And I'll just leave it called New Text Layer. Let's change it to, though. So you can see it's the same font as the last. So let's go to Effects Controls. Come down here. Let's change. See what that does. Not sure what that does. Okay. Change the font. Look, you could even change the text to animate to a different font. Let me see. That didn't look like it changed anything. Oh. Make sure you have it selected so that it will make the change. There we go. Okay. You can change the color to fill. Okay. So do a few changes there. That way you can see what happens. New text layer. Ah, look what happened. That old text layer, I had clicked on this, and so that became part of this title here. So if I search down here, I should be able to find that text layer. I should also be able to, on this, click that and delete it if I want to get it off. Sometimes it helps to, here it is. I should be able to click and delete over here. There we go. Okay, so now it's gone. Sometimes you get too many drop downs over here, so it's good to click some of them and get rid of them. Okay, that's the second way. Let's add the third way. Make a legacy title. This is the most versatile way, I would say. File. Oh, I never remember what drop-down menu it is in. And if you can't remember, you can always go, it's under New. So File, New, Legacy Title. And here I can name it. So always just name it Title, and then I'm just going to call it a Legacy Title since that's what I'm making for your reference. But you would call it whatever words you were putting in it so that you could remember. This is nice because it gives you a lot that you can work from. And so you can click what you want to start with. I'm going to call this Legacy Title. And let me move this over here. From there you can, if you don't like the color, you can change it. Let's do purple, just for the fun of it. You can change it to small caps. You got a lot of options over here. Even for the font, and you get to preview the fonts, which is nice. You can change the position this way, that way. You can change opacity. You could even add a background here, which then will cover your layer, but you can also make the background somewhat opaque so that it can somewhat hide the layer. You can have a sheen. You can add a texture, and you can look at the details for that. Okay, so there are a lot of options that I'd like you to explore. Just click around, do some things, see what you like, see what you can do. You can even add shapes in this one, which is nice. And then I don't like that. When you're happy with it, you can click out, and there it is down here. And now you can just drag it up. And of course you got to have your cursor over it to see it. And you can change the length. But the good thing about this Legacy Title is now I have it along with my project for reference. And so anytime I want another Legacy Title, I can drag it over. I can also right-click Duplicate. And then I can change this. So you can have a number of series. So this is Legacy Title again. And I will move this over, and I'm going to change the... Ooh, let's do a gradient. Let's do... This one will be blue. Okay. And now I'll click this out. Legacy Title again. I'm just showing you how I can experiment with it. You don't have to do all this. But now you got this Legacy Title and that Legacy Title, so you have the gradient there. Okay. If you want to do that with the others, well, you don't have it in the Properties panel. So what you can do is Apple C, and then if I come over here in Apple B, you can see it lays down on that bottom layer, which cuts your video, which isn't cool, because then if you want the video later, well, you've lost it, and now I can't see the video behind like you can over here. So you don't want to paste there, so just come over here and paste, and then you can move it up. And then I believe you can edit this. So oops, that's the wrong one. I copied the wrong one. Okay, let's go copy this new text layer. Control C. I'm saying Control, I mean Command. Command V. See if I can change the text in it. I have my Legacy Title open. I don't want that. Okay. See if I can change the text in it. Edited. And I'm going to drag it over so that I can see that. Okay. And let's make sure that it did not change the first one. Okay, it didn't. So that's how you can do it if you want to do that. But it's nice to have the Legacy Titles in this Properties panel. So now we're left with the last way. It's the Essential Graphics Template way. So you'll select the timeline over here. and then go to Window Essential Graphics. And that pulls up this window, which has a lot of stuff that you could have done yourself slowly, but now this is stuff that you can use. So you can type title. If you want a title, you can type third. If you want a lower third, and then just browse these, and you can scan over and kind of see what animation it has, and then just pick the one that interests you, and of course you can drag it down here, and this is where you can affect it. Okay, so it's down there. I'm going to go to edit because I want to edit it. You can move the location, vertical center, horizontal center. Make sure you've clicked on it or it's not going to do what you want it to do. Over here is where now we can see changes that we can make to it, like the position. Looks like you can change the shape, opacity. Remember that you want it positioned up inside this safe area. Now if I want to change the text, it's tempting to be able to just click up here and change it, but it's not going to let me do that. So what you need to do is come here, and we will call this an Essential Graphics title. And of course down here you can quick ways to change the positioning. Sometimes the positioning is not, it's centered based on where this was originally. This is the opacity, the transparency or opacity. And text. So now you have animation options over here and style options over here. So that's the other way to do it. And of course I cannot leave that down there, so I'm just going to change the position, scoot it on up. And that's what I'd like you to do. Just put a sample of each of those titles, explore your options and change them around a little bit so that I can see that you've experimented with it. And then, and then save, and then export media. H.264, YouTube, 1080 Full HD. Change your output name to in your Google Drive folder, under AVP stuff. You could call it titles. First 6 weeks. Exploring titles. Or whatever I told you in the assignment. And then, change the location and then hit save and you can export. One more thing I want to show you is make sure that you have this safe area up. You just need to right click and make sure safe margins is checked. Otherwise it doesn't show the safe area. That is a horrible face. Okay, so there is that. But have fun exploring them, and then we can apply from your most preferred method to place them on the principal's videos.